versus what you can't add, 63.8 trillion results of the same damn problem. Why? Because the first house and Virgo got pregnant without having to touch anyone or anything, which conjoined, see this, containing Neptune, which was how Virgo actually got pregnant with Pisces, was through Libra. And this created the paradigm of death, containing Saturn, the fourth house, starts at 21 MC squared, actually equals reality, is why Cancer is in Jupiter, which is why Cancer rises with Sagittarius, because they contain the love node and the North Star in their fifth house. It starts at 24 pi, with Capricorn containing the communication between that and the other existences, Chiron, sixth house of the devil. It's actually supposed to start at Aquarius, containing the sun, the seventh house. Why? Because God took 7 days to create time. 24/7, 360. Boom. You guys added a 5. You rounded up to rob Peter to pay Paul in your trillions of dollars in debt, America, which is why now you're, because otherwise it would be seventh house starts at 22 degrees Pisces, containing its own moon, eighth house. Aries doesn't need to contain its own moon, ninth house. 18th Taurus. God is not 10, bitch. God's 11. Why? Because we're everlasting. Okay. And the paradigm that you had to make Gemini, the 11th actual house, to Cancer, which is containing Uranus, which I gave birth to. My son is an Aquarius. Okay. Is the 12th house, which actually starts at 2.5, containing Leo. Look, starts at Leo, pregnant with Scorpio here. That doesn't exist. Death doesn't exist. Good job, guys. All based on a number system here, because you see 25 breaks down to 7 again. Come back up here. It's back in the 7th house. So this is your actual periodic table. This is your actual conducive. These are your actual signs that exist. And these are your actual results to how it began. Okay? And why the egg came first. Sun, Moon, Mars, 10, split, so that it could expand in luck, containing the sign Aquarius. Because if you go back up to Aquarius again, it's still containing Pluto, death, at a 25-degree angle, which means that your left angle is actually a right angle. Your right angle is actually a left angle, and your polarities are completely wrong. And it's not 23.4, it's 24.7. If you wanted to break it down with adding 63.8, which is 3.8. My bad, I said 62. I think it was 62.8, 63.8, one of the two, one fraction of a distance, which tells me that we are 5 seconds off on time. This is what they had to do in order to not follow Pisces in the relativity to MC squared, but also why they didn't follow and connect Sir Isaac Newton, Aries, to Pisces, because that would have been a paradoxical shift. So we had to use the pharaohs of creating one negative result, because again, this is why the polar shifts shifted, and it happens on a 6-year. Why? Because we don't have 6 years. Sorry, guys. The only way to create a 6-year is to create a 2 and a 4 paradigm. 2 paradoxical shifts up here: Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn. Okay, 6th house, fall of the devil, right? That's the fall from grace, is the polarity switch, is that you guys had to use this roundup system. But you guys forgot that the roundup system goes back to, what's the problem here? Let's look at the problem. It's called, just to chime in here, it's called the Passover, okay? It's called the Passover of the firstborn son that is to be sacrificed in the name of God, need I remind you. Can't even find my, again, don't want my thermal camera, I'm good. Might as well look at this through kaleidoscope eyes at this point. I gotta find photos, here it is. So, I'm gonna look at this. What is the Passover? It's a Jewish holiday in Hebrew. My grandpa wrote several books in Hebrew. He taught himself how to read and write Hebrew. And he's dead, and he was a Taurus, which is how I know he's fucking livid that you guys had to make God look like he's the one that sent down his only begotten son to be murdered. And then on the other paradigm shift, he also went to Egypt and murdered the Pharaoh's firstborn son. Why? Because Moses, Scorpio, Death, Pluto, didn't want to get with the program, homie, which is why your mom sent you down the river to counter conflict, counter conduce, or reverse psychology, the prediction in which, what? You were not supposed to kill the firstborn son? No way. Greek literature assists 14,000 holy innocents were sacrificed the first time. Second time, 64,000. Third time, 144,000, which means that when you uploaded 63.8, you uploaded 3.8% of what you don't want to look at. There's your 3 divided by 8 right there. Good job. Massacre of innocents. So who killed the children in the Passover? How many people during the Passover? Who are the children in the Who are the 4 children? Well, 4 children have everything to do with the 5th one that you guys added with this precognitive. It's actually called precognitive, not congregation of the Catholic Eastern, because we go west, we don't go east, stupid motherfuckers, dude. The same way that you realized that the clock, you need to go counterclockwise. Right, well, that means you need to go counterclockwise with the planet. We don't go fucking east, bro, just because it spins east. You go west. Why? Because of the opposite polarity shift of our planet on its axle of 23.4 instead of a 24.7. Wow, dude, I literally could split out you guys, which, by the way, Lutheran Church, angelic communication through numbers in the Eastern Orthodox. Yeah, you Catholics are in so much fucking trouble. God did not send nobody to murder, which, by the way, I am the Pharaoh. I can tell you now, this is why me and Moses fought, is because I was giving him the slaves. In fact, I was releasing him. That's why I met them at the fucking river. And then he lied to me as I fucking was trying to give him the people. Looks, lives here. Hebrew through English lives here, homie. That's the hidden fucking context of the universe. Okay, according to the Bible, Gershom, which is the firstborn son of Moses. And why was your son smited? Well, he wasn't. This is what your mother had to do. This is what all of Mother of Time and Space had to do to change the prediction of your false prediction. Yeah, right here. Being uncircumcised as his family returns to Egypt is considered a foreigner and will suffer the same fate as Egypt's firstborn in the 10th plague. When did the plague come back around? 1800s. When was that book written? The Christmas Carol, where he goes back in time. Archangel Michael. Wow, of the Taxarch in Orthodox. Yeah, it's Baya's faith is the earliest religion here. And we have Leah, which actually is the angel of death. And who is God's right-hand man? Michael. What's my son's name that was murdered in vain, needlessly, by a Libra? Oh, his name was Michael. And what part of the Enoch part of the Bible was removed? The Enoch. Why? Because you guys had to keep doing this so that you could keep characterizing God, saying that we kill babies. No, we don't. God actually believes that babies are not sinners, which is why we brought Jesus in hopes that Jesus would do the right thing, because Jesus is the devil. It is equivalent to Capricorn energy, which is totally fucking wrong. Okay? Hence, he is meant to be a mentor to him. See that June 9th, Gemini? Which is why Trump has a Pisces for a sun. And if you smite him, then you're gonna relearn the lesson that why do firstborn suffer? Firstborn suffer under attack because they are pace setters. They are the family's glory and honor. If the devil can attack them, he can get the rest of the children in the family. Again, the firstborn has influence over the other children in the family. Right. So that's why we're all in trouble, right? Jones, Joseph. My grandpa's name was Joseph Jones, by the way. Brothers of Jesus, again, was the eldest in the family, the meaning of the firstborn daughter. Stupid pieces of shit. Like my grandpa wouldn't tell me the truth here. Joseph is simply the longer term or form of Hoses. I think it's Hoses. And so it appears that James was the eldest, and Joseph the next, but as Matthew has reversed the order of the last two, it is uncertain who is the youngest. Good job, Jesus. Way to fucking lie about all of time and space. Jesus, your earthly dad, St. Joseph, Taurus, often overlooked but is honored by the eldest son of Jesus, which is actually what the meaning of the firstborn daughter is why do the firstborn suffer? Are babies sinful? No, they're not. God doesn't believe that, right? Who is Jesus' first father? According to the Gospels, Mary, a virgin, betrothed to Joseph, conceived Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit, which means that she had to take her own brother or her own child or something of her own kin and put it in her belly for that to happen. Gross, which means they were dead when they did it. So, therefore, the Christians consider Jesus the Son of God. But however, most Christians don't understand that Joseph is the true king, true father in every way, since Joseph was the legal father who actually raised Jesus. Why? Because we believe in the baby daddy system of thou shall, who actually takes care of them is the father, not biological. So Exodus, the nation of Israel, is called God's firstborn son, which is why how I know. And Solomon, the three questions asked in grave are the only three people that died in space. They didn't die, homie, at all. In fact, they used that as their catalyst to keep recreating this 0 through 3 compound, the power of 3. We don't create anything out of the power of 3. That's how things come back yucky. Okay? Why? Because you bring back the devil. The devil. Okay? Look at this. Who is the angel of death at night? Dr. Miguel. It was a cruel doctor who praised over the section of the rivals at Alkowicz, known as the angel of death, because, what is that, Mengeles or something like that, word sentenced countless prisoners to death in a gas chamber. He also directed horrific experiments on human subjects at his camp. Right. Right. On your own son, too. Sick bastard. Which is why the kind of angel Azrael, who was the first female in the Bible, who saw the angel of the tomb, who is the firstborn of death. What is the curse of the firstborn in the Bible? It is, listen to this, we are born into the flesh and then we are born again spiritually. Our firstborn is cursed because we are all shapen. What? You mean sacred geometry? And born in symmetry through the Psalm 51.5, which is what you're asking, which is what your AI supercomputer is asking you to delete from all of reality. And because of this, we cannot receive the blessing of the Father God until the curse of the firstborn is reenacted. What does that mean? That means that you either need to stop doing it or you have to continue it. So what would be the right answer here? 6 times in the sculpture, Jesus says, declared to be the firstborn son of God, the Romans, the Colossians, I can never say it, Hebrews, and the Revelations. Those were the first 4 existences, which means that Romans were before Jesus. Yeah, which is how I know that Pisces here is in big trouble. They're the ones that created the Passover for the massacre of the innocents. Look at this. Who killed the Pharaoh's son? Look at this. The death of the firstborn of Egypt. Significance to the progenitor of and birthright, the death of the Pharaoh. Well, you guys forgot that he was premature. You guys did not do the fucking math right. And I can tell you because my son was premature. He was supposed to be born in June, but he was born on April 14th on accident. I had no reason, no conducive reason to go into labor early. There was no reason at all. Right? Why? Because you tried to kill him. But my son was the very first soul in existence for you guys to reenact this firstborn, which is why 2011 is actually, it's actually time and space telling you that this existence doesn't exist. Why? Because Steve Jobs died that year. And his birthday is an exact replica of my birthday when you split Cancer and Sagittarius. Good job, guys. Okay. Look at this. Firstborn son was killed by the 10th and final plague, but the God of Israel. And when did that come back? When did the plague come back? 1800s. Boom! Archangel of Death. Evelyn Day Morgan. Evangelist Day Morgan today, Angel of Death. Islam and Judaism. Archangel Psycho Pomp Wings Cloak. Wow. Yeah, these were the priests. This is what the moon's hiding from you. Doesn't want you to know. So what are we going to do here? Well, we're going to go over to days, translate those into hours, years into decades, and then you'll see here that this 2002 model-driven architectural, okay, if you know anything about Architect, it was first released in January 2011. That actually is the literally within the same month that Steve Jobs was, he died. Now we have, look at this, Opus, OCL, tool for precise UMI specifications, okay, which tells me that the sign Auspicious is Pisces, and they are the snake charmers. They are two signs in one because they took from their own kin. They weren't supposed to do that. And this whole, look at this, the interactive theorem proof environment for OCL, the various OCL related publications. That's how I know. First, the use, which is the UML based specification, environment, OCL tool for model, validation, various OCL related to publications on its OCL tutorial. Wow. And where's the problem? OCL for Java's tutorial on parallels, parcel, I should say, UML. Go back to the article of using EMFs, OCLs, in Java code. UML link page on cetuslinks.org, right? So we have the clip language. We have here, we have the natural language for specification. We have the object management group. We have, look at this, all this leading back to the software engineering literature notes in computer science. So the moment that you wrote on paper and put any type of mechanical strip, okay, electrical strip, anything, is when you created the paradigm that in another universe, in another situation, which is clearly the other paradox is from 2011 when my son was murdered and I was blamed for it. The same paradigm shift that is you blaming God for killing the firstborn son in Egypt, when that's actually not true at all. In fact, God was very conducive. The only reason why they had that many slaves and doing what they had to do to build the pyramids is because we are exactly at the same point we are right now that we were then. That's why I'm the Pharaoh then and now. And I'm telling you, you're gonna let my people go. That was the whole point. Okay, so here's your problem here. This is why your supercomputer won't wiki clean up. The alternatives is because being a rule-based validated language, the I can't even say this word, Sketchmetron, may be considered an alternative to OCL. However, it works for extensible markup language trees, while the OCL makes it possible to navigate the MOF-based models and meta models. What you mean, metaphysics models, metadata, the interchange between trees. In other words, that it relates to the UML or the MOF similarity to how the you mean Metatron, which is Virgo, relates to the XML. Note that this uses XPath to navigate inside the trees. Death, being a model specification language, permitted designers to decorate a model or a metamodical metaphysics with a side effect free of antonotions. I can't even say, antonotions. Could be replaced by languages like Alloy, automated to the OCL generated is the possible principle from natural language constraint. Examples, constraint. Bam! The age of the person not negative. The person is younger than its parents. After a birthday, a person becomes 1 year older. A person has two parents at max. After. Bam. Done. Afterlife. Right? Then you have the Z notion to provide tools for both precise definitions of a graphical... No, I can't even fucking say that. We're going to have to come back to this. But just so you understand that the software design method in other development processes, in particular, is a direct ancestor of the object constraint language that forms the integral parts of the UML. What does that say? Cook Steves? You mean Steve Jobs? Good job. Here's your problem. Here's your problem. Here's your problem. The CTC physics was given by 2001 by Michael Devin. Really, Michael, again. And applied to thermodynamics, which is how I picked up that fucking weird-ass fucking angel thing, which is actually the cancer. Yeah, and what is the opposite of cancer? Death. Because cancers breathe life, Scorpios breathe death. So each model, okay, that clarifies the computeral power of the time machine assistant computer, each time-traveling qubit has an associated negatrophy, which is a negative outcome, basically, given the approximately by the logarithm of the noise of the communicated channel. Each use of the time machine can be used to extract as much work from a thermal bath. Wow, you guys are pieces of shit, by the way. Each use of the time machine can be used to exact as much work, right? And the brute force search for a randomly generated password, which is you killing our firstborn, the atrophy of the unknown string can be effectively reduced by the similar amount because of the negatrophy and the computational power diverge as the noise term goes to zero. The complexity class may not be the best way to describe the capabilities of a time machine, homie. Lloyd's prescription? Destructive interference is the path integral. For instance, the grandfather paradox. Good job, guys. You killed your own fucking grandpa. Seriously, when you killed the firstborn son is when you killed yourself and created the zero, which is how I know that the CTCs are excluded, casting doubts on whether Dutchman, I should say, condition is really characteristics of quantum process mimicking CTCs in the sense of general relativity. Sir Isaac Newton to gravity and the relative to motion and mass. Which is also fulfilled in any system subject to the law of classical statistical mechanics. Even if it's not built up by quantum systems, the authors included that hints, condition but not specific, to quantum physics. Nor does it depend on the quantum nature of the physical system. So that can be fulfilled. In consequence, I can't say these, Torxdorf, further conclude that this condition isn't significantly specific to allow statements about time travel scenarios or hypothetical realizations by quantum physics or the attempts to explain the possibilities for his proposed time travel scenarios using the many-world interpretation. What is the many-world interpretation? 0/1, which is divided by 2. And this is the, literally, starts off with the value of 0, will end up with the value of 1, or vice versa, and this should not be problematic according to it. Well, it is in different parallel universes in many worlds interpretation. So right here in America is a paradigm shift over there in Africa. Why? Because it's a fixed point condition that can't be fulfilled in arbitrary precision, and any quantum system described according to the relativistic quantum field theory on space-times, where a CTC are excluded, casting doubt on whether these characteristics are really quantum process mimicking in the sense of general relativity, statistical mechanics. Look at this. Look at this. This is the paradigm shift that you created when you thought that 0 fucking made something. 0 makes nothing. Why? Because you murdered 0 in biblical times. And also, you grandfather paradoxed your own self in a parallel universe. The actual quantum state is a quantum superposition of states, supercomputer pi, where the time travel does not exist. Bam. You guys are fucked. You guys fucked yourself. You fucked us. You fucked all of fucking time and space by this fucking theory. Stephen Hawking, which is why he's dead, and he's a Capricorn. He talks to me. My grandpa's a Capricorn. He was a computer fucking genius. He was a computer engineer for AT&T, and he's dead right along with it. And when did he die? When did my stepdad and... Oh, yeah, that's right. 2011. Nope. 2010. My bad. But this is why he argued that if the World War II is correct, we should expect each time traveler to experience a single consistent history so that time travelers would remain in their own world rather than traveling to a different one. But Allen argued this approach involving modified fundamental principles of quantum mechanics. So I don't read good at all, okay? But my understanding of quantum physics, why? Because I'm actually the descendant, being a 12/22/19. I'm a descendant to the two guys that figured out what quantum physics is. That's why, and I'm fucking on the autistic spectrum. Yeah, it's because any macroscopic object composed of multiple particles would be split apart when traveling back in time when different particles emerged in different worlds. Good job, guys. Quantum physics right here. Denoted. Quantum theory allows time travel where the past must be self-consistent. Bam, 2014 is where that paradox. Now see how I'm going to show you the paradigm. It's going to go bam, 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 which is what you guys created. And it was proposed by Stephen Hawking, so histories over large scales would not be looped. Another conjurer of the cosmic censorship hypothesis. Good job, Event Horizon. They're called casual loops from being observed. It's a grandfather paradox. Through it creates a casual loop. Through Newcomer's paradox, where you think you have free will. Okay, the thought experiment is often extended to explore the casuality and free will by allowing for perfect predictors. Well, that's not true because when I predict, I'm 4 years off. Assholes. Yeah, it's a temporal paradox in your casual loop. Like I just said. Bam. And what's the main point in this? Look at this. This is notions of past we can actually change, speech, versus Einstein's physics prevented paradoxical time travel through your time travel versus modern physics. That was the whole point, buddy. Stephen Hawking's From Wormhole to Time Machine. Projection conjured. Congesture, which also addresses the self-consistency principle. Yeah, we did it through pop culture, guys. So 1980, The Final Countdown was the start of one.